Collinwood in the year 1897. On this day, Edward Collins has been summoned to a doctor's office to identify a man who wandered in from the woods, weak and fever-ridden. The man has claimed to be Barnabas Collins and had told Edward a tale of horror concerning his arrival in Collinsport. Full of fear and suspicion, Edward Collins and his brother Quentin, whose body is inhabited by the infamous Count Petofi, have now set out to prove whether or not this man is the Barnabas they both knew to be a vampire.
Look, the door is open.
You stay here. I'll see if there's any trouble. Stay with me.
Aristide. Aristide. What's going on? What have you found?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Except that.
His story was pathetic, but you're right. I accepted it too easily. Put that gun to his heart. Right to his heart. If that coffin is empty, you fire. Oh, God, what's going on here? What's going on? We shouldn't have brought him here.
He wanted to come and see for himself, didn't he?
The doctor was right. He's too sick to come.
Perhaps we ought to take him back to the doctor's office.
No. We're going to take him to Collinwood.
Are you crazy?
You heard this man's story. He is a Collins. He's been through a terrible experience.
And you really believe him?
Don't you?
I don't know.
What other choice do we have? We're clearly in the presence of two distinctly different bodies.
But they look exactly the same.
But we have both seen that this man can exist in daylight, and we have seen that the stake is still in the heart of this vampire. I believe this man's story. We've got to help him in every way we can. As soon as we rechain the coffin, we will take that poor man back to Collinwood and do everything we can to help him regain his health.
I'm gonna dance for you, gonna dance your cares away. I'll do the Uchiko and the ra-ra-boom-dee. I sing a song while I dance
anyone ever told you that singing is forbidden in this house?
That's right, Gov. You did quite some time ago.
Then why did I hear you singing just now?
Maybe because there's a bit of the devil in me.
You still refuse to recognize me as your father, don't you?
You ain't my father. You never will be. I remember old Bertie well, though not always with pleasure.
If you insist that you have no family here, don't you think you might be happier somewhere else?
Ooh, ain't we the transparent one now? Does my presence here embarrass you, Governor? Well, I suggest you take it up with your wife. It's at her invitation I'm here, you know. She's been very kind and good to me, and I'm quite grateful to her. She thinks I can be respectable. What's more than I can say for you?
Now you listen to me.
Yeah, now you take
are
over.
not going to stay here.
Listen, Gov, maybe you better listen to me. If you're a good chap and leave me alone, maybe, just maybe, I won't tell Miss Judith what a rotter you really are. Get my meaning, Governor?
What's the meaning of this?
A what, love?
This portrait.
Ooh, ain't she pretty?
Who's responsible for bringing it in this house?
How should I know?
Are you sure you don't know anything about it?
No, not me, love. Does it bother you?
It should bother you more than it does me.
Why?
Must I remind you that it was Amanda Harris who drove you from this house?
Oh, no, you're wrong about that, Gov. What drove me away was the way you was carrying on with her.
I was not carrying on with her.
I seen it with my own eyes. The way you was eyeing her and touching her, pretending to help her. Ain't much escape, so pansy, love. Ain't much at all. I'm gonna dance for you.
That portrait was brought here to discredit me.
I'll do the execute.
I will find out who brought it here, and I will make them pay for it.
I'll stand
Him back from the dead.
Don't be absurd, Trask.
You've brought the vampire back.
Will you please listen to me?
No. This is the work of the devil, and he has called upon you to help him.
Who is he? Mr. Gregory Trask, protector and guardian of family virtue. Mr. Trask, may I present to you...
This is no time for your humor. Quentin, take him upstairs. I will explain everything to Trask.
Is that man Barnabas Collins, or is it not?
That is his name?
He was in his coffin with a stake through his heart.
The man you are thinking about is still in his coffin. That is not the same Barnabas. He was victimized by the Barnabas we all know. And you can see he is in a terrible state.
I refuse to believe it is not the same man. I trust my first instinct, Edward. The devil is at work here, and he has deceived you as he has so many others.
I trust only my eyes and my heart, and I assure you that they have not deceived me.
You have made a mistake bringing him in this house, Edward. He must not be allowed to stay.
This man is very ill. What would you have me do? Turn him out to the woods where he can die?
His presence here is a danger to all of us. He must leave.
If he leaves this house, it will be on Judith's orders and not yours.
Well, I assure you, Edward, that I will speak to Judith about it.
Mr. Trask, I have encountered callous and insensitive people in my time, but I think you should be given a great special award.
What are you talking about?
How could you have the audacity to bring the portrait of this woman in here?
I am not responsible for that portrait being here.
Then who is?
I don't know. I was as shocked by it as you are.
I don't believe you.
Wait, Edward, you must believe me. There was nothing between that girl and me.
Rubbish! Even the servants know there was something between you two. And believe me, when the servants know about it, you can be sure it's true. Now, I want you to get that portrait out of here before Julius sees it. Do you understand?
I want to thank both of you for bringing me here.
Barnabas, now that we're alone, you don't have to play act anymore.
Play act?
Well, believe me, it's all right. I know the full story.
What full story?
You are the same Barnabas Collins as we knew before. There can't possibly be two of you.
Mr. Collins, you haven't understood a word I've told you.
Now, Barnabas, listen, this is your friend Quentin. You can be honest with me.
But I've told you and your brother everything.
Well, I can understand why you wouldn't tell Edward about Angelique and Julia.
Angelique? Julia?
Yes. I know that Angelique and Julia have been working together to bring you back. How they did it, I don't know. That is irrelevant. What matters is that you are back. And now we can work together to fight Petofi.
Petofi? Fight? Don't you understand? You must believe me. Everything I told you in the doctor's office was true. I don't understand why you doubt me. You too saw that coffin.
Yes, I see. Well, perhaps I was wrong. But, you'd better get some rest, Barnabas.
I'm going upstairs, but I will return within the half hour. I want you to attend to that portrait, do you understand?
Are you going up to visit the patient?
I am.
I shall pray, Edward, that no harm befalls anyone in this house because of his presence. Because if it does, it will be your responsibility.
Trask, in all of your fanatical ravings, there is one salient point which you have failed to grasp.
And what is that?
Quentin and I brought this man in here in broad daylight. Even you are supposed to know that a vampire cannot live during the day.
Are you still explaining things to him?
No, I've finished. I think he understands now.
Well, my, what have we here?
Suppose you tell me.
I beg your pardon?
Why did you bring that portrait into this house?
Who told you I did that?
No one had to tell me. You're the only one who could have done it.
That is a rather brash assumption, Mr. Trask.
You brought it here to embarrass me.
Oh, now there is another intriguing statement. Why should this portrait embarrass you? Oh, now don't tell me you weren't a good boy while my sister was away, huh?
I demand that you remove it at once.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, Mr. Trask, but the portrait isn't mine. Therefore, it wouldn't be proper for me to take it, would it? But you know, you have aroused my curiosity. Yes, I would love to know who does own it.
Now, there is one way to find out, Quentin. By asking the man who painted it, Charles Tate. And I intend to do that right now.
That might be a mistake.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. My instinct tells me that you would be better off to leave well enough alone. Barnabas Collins, my enemy. Are you as dead as you seem? I think not. Somehow, there is a connection between you and this coffin and the man who walks in the day.
You must be destroyed.
Who's there?
Just what do you think you're doing?
I'm going to destroy this creature, whatever it is.
But that's inhuman.
You think this thing deserves humanity?
But of course not.
As long as this thing exists, the family's in danger. You must admit that, Edward.
Yes.
And besides, I am very curious to know just how this destruction is going to affect the Barnabas Collins, who was among us inexplicably. Yes, extremely interesting. Yes, the vampire is destroyed forever.
Ah, Mr. Collins. I thought you might be asleep, so I didn't knock. I am the Reverend Gregory Trask.
How do you do?
I was concerned about you. You seemed so weak when they brought you in.
I'm not feeling any better, I'm afraid.
I'm sorry to hear that. Perhaps you could use something to help sustain you through this great trial. Something like this.
Is something wrong, Reverend?
No. Of course not. I merely brought this along to help me pray for your swift recovery.
Thank you. It's very kind of you.
Man, what looks like Barnabas Collins. How do you know it ain't him?
Because we went to the place where you killed him and his body is still there.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
That's why I'm taking the trouble to try to explain it to you. You mustn't allow this stranger's presence to annoy you in any way. You are in no danger. Do you understand?
I think so.
Good. Now I'm going up and see how the patient is doing.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yes, Charity. I just want to talk to you.
I ain't staying in this room alone with you.
now,
You open them doors or I'll scream.
Please.
Open them up, I tell you.
You mustn't be frightened of me.
That's what you say.
Now, listen to me. Listen. You don't have to be frightened of me anymore. It just so happens that I'm as frightened as you are. Wonder if Edward is wrong about that man upstairs.
Well, I ain't planning to stay around to find out. I'm leaving this house.
Yes, but that won't solve anything. Now, look. You know, you're the only one who can help us. But you're the one who destroyed that vampire. Now, If anyone can tell us if that man upstairs is the real Barnabas Collins, it's you.
You think I'm going to that creature upstairs? You're crazy.
Pansy? Pansy. Now, you know you owe it to Judith. You know she's letting you stay in this house because she likes you. Now, you know that, don't you? Now, I promise you, I won't let anything happen to you.
What do you want me to do?
All I want you to do is just look at the man. Now, you don't have to worry. I'll be standing right beside you. Now, you're just to tell me if that man upstairs is the same Barnabas Collins who was at Collinwood before. I'm sorry to bother you, but I just thought that we might settle this matter once and for all.
I don't understand you.
Oh, you will. Just one moment. Now look at him, my dear. Come on, turn around and look at him. Tell me if this man is the real Barnabas Collins.